James Chen pressed his back against the cold metal wall of the research facility, his heart hammering as footsteps echoed through the corridor. Not human footsteps. These were too heavy, too measured, each one reverberating through the deck, plating like distant thunder. The Vailthani had found them. "James, this way." Lisa Martinez grabbed his arm, pulling him toward the emergency shaft. Her dark eyes were wide with fear, but her grip was steady. After 3 years working together at the xenobiology lab on Station Kepler 442, she knew how to keep her head in a crisis. The invasion had started 12 hours ago. The Vailthani Empire's massive ships had appeared without warning, their hulls gleaming like black mirrors against the stars. Within minutes, they'd disabled the station's defenses and begun boarding. Now James and Lisa were among the last humans still free, hiding in the research levels while their colleagues were either dead or captured. James squeezed through the maintenance shaft first, his lean frame making it easier to navigate the tight space. Behind him, Lisa muttered curses in rapid-fire Spanish as she struggled with her equipment pack. They were heading for Lab 7, where James had been conducting his latest experiment, one that might be their only hope. "Tell me again why we're not heading for the escape pods," Lisa whispered as they crawled through the darkness. "Because there aren't any left," James replied grimly. "And because I think I know why they're really here." The Vailthani weren't just another conquering species. James had been studying their intercepted communications for months, trying to understand their technology. What he'd discovered was terrifying. They were telepathic, but not in the way humans understood the concept. They could read surface thoughts, emotional states, even subconscious reactions. It made them nearly impossible to lie to hide from, or to surprise. But James had found something else in his research, a peculiarity in human brain chemistry that the Vailthani couldn't account for, something that might level the playing field. They reached Lab 7 without incident. The familiar hum of quantum processors and bioanalyzers filled the air, a comforting reminder of normalcy in an increasingly insane situation. James went straight to his workstation, fingers flying across the holographic interface. "What are you doing?" Lisa demanded, positioning herself by the door with a plasma cutter she'd grabbed from the engineering section. "Remember my neural mapping project? The one studying human creative cognition?" James's voice was tight with concentration. "I found something the Vailthani don't know about us. Our brains don't just think. We imagine. We dream. We create entire realities that exist nowhere but in our minds. So their telepathy works by reading neural patterns that correspond to actual thoughts and memories. But human imagination creates patterns that don't match anything real. To them, it's like noise." James pulled up a complex brain scan on his display. "But what if we could weaponize that noise?" The lab door shuddered. Something massive was testing its strength. James grabbed a neural interface headset from his equipment rack. "I modified this to amplify creative neural activity. If I'm right, it should make human thoughts completely incomprehensible to them, maybe even painful to read." The door buckled inward. "James, whatever you're going to do." The wall exploded. Through the smoking breach stepped a Vailthani soldier, and James felt his breath catch. He'd seen them on security feeds, but nothing had prepared him for the reality. She stood nearly 3 meters tall, her elongated limbs moving with predatory grace. Her skin was a deep violet blue, and her large black eyes held an alien intelligence that seemed to peer directly into his soul. Fear, desperation, clever little mammals trying to hide. The voice appeared in James's mind without sound, carrying with it an overwhelming sense of amusement and superiority. Lisa gasped beside him. She was hearing it too. "You will come with me now. Resistance will only prolong your suffering." James slipped on the neural interface, his fingers trembling as he activated the program. "Lisa, think about something impossible, something that could never exist." "What?" "Dragons made of music flying through oceans of starlight, cities that grow like trees but sing like whales. Anything that makes no sense." The Vailthani soldier stepped forward, her head tilting curiously. "What are you?" The thought cut off. Abruptly, her expression shifted from confident predator to confused observer. James concentrated, letting his imagination run wild. He thought about colors that had no names, about the sound of silence, about mathematical equations that solved themselves by becoming symphonies. He imagined Lisa as a warrior made of crystallized laughter, wielding weapons forged from the dreams of sleeping stars. The alien staggered backward, her hands moving to her temples. "Stop. This is not possible. Your thoughts are wrong." "Lisa, help me." James grabbed her hand. The neural interface was designed for one person, but skin contact might be enough to create a feedback loop. Lisa closed her eyes and let her mind wander. She thought about her grandmother's impossible recipes, dishes that somehow fed the soul as well as the body. She imagined conversations with the wind, dance moves that could reshape reality, love stories between abstract concepts. The Veltani soldier fell to her knees, a sound like a wounded animal escaping her throat. "Your species, what are you? These patterns, these thoughts that have no meaning, no connection to reality." For the first time, her mental voice carried something James had never expected to hear from a Veltani. Respect. "We have conquered 17 species across 4 galaxies. All of them thought in ways we could understand, predict, control. But you think in impossibilities." James maintained the mental storm but found he could still communicate. "That's what makes us human. We don't just process reality. We dream beyond it. This ability, it is why your species creates art, why you tell stories of things that never were." Yes, the alien was silent for a long moment, her massive form trembling. When she finally spoke again, her mental voice was different, smaller, almost vulnerable. "I have never experienced wonder before. In all my centuries, I have never encountered a thought that surprised me. But your minds, they are like looking into an infinite kaleidoscope of possibilities." James felt Lisa's grip tighten on his hand. Through the neural link, he could sense her amazement mixing with his own. "I will tell the fleet commanders what I have learned here. Perhaps there are other ways to interact with your species than conquest." The Veltani soldier rose to her feet, moving with a new kind of grace, one that spoke of respect rather than dominance. "Your thoughts are beautiful, James Chen and Lisa Martinez. We will remember them." As she turned to leave, James called out, "Wait, what's your name?" The alien paused, and for a moment her mental voice carried something that might have been a smile. "I am keeper of lost songs, Zenthara, and thanks to you, I am no longer lost." As her footsteps faded down the corridor, James and Lisa stood in the ruins of the lab, still connected by the neural interface, still sharing the impossible dreams that had saved not just their lives, but perhaps their entire species. In the end, it wasn't humanity's weapons or technology that impressed the galaxy's most feared conquerors. It was their ability to imagine the impossible and believe in it so completely that it became, in its own way, real.